I got you into a Remington party. What's my thanks? It's on the hallway carpet. I got paid in puke. Lick it up, baby. I got paid in puke.
Welcome to Paid in Puke, a podcast where three women with names discuss movies that are about something other than a man. Paid in Puke is hosted by Amy Green, Christina Barr, and Jessica Baxter. It's also a spoiler-filled free-for-all. You've been warned.
This is Paid in Puke podcast, our first episode. I'm Jessica Baxter.
I'm Amy Green.
And I'm Christina Barr.
And we are three friends who had a feminist movie club because we thought it was important to go see all of the female-led movies that are coming out in theaters. And then afterwards, we had lots of interesting things to say about them. So we thought we should share those thoughts with the world. And here we are doing that on our podcast.
Yay.
Today's episode is Fogelfest 2019. Yes. Susanna Fogel. Stan, as the kids say. We're talking about two of her movies. So the first one is The Spy Who Dumped Me, which she wrote and directed.
They all want what you've got, and they'll kill each and every one of us until they get it.
Oh my God. God, I killed someone! I killed someone! Stop yelling!
What are we doing? Are we going to sit in the corner all night? It's your birthday.
I'm 30 years old. I wear a Hawaiian shirt to work.
My boyfriend dumped me in a text. Let's set a shit on fire.
Burn, burn, burn in the fire.
In the bad situation.
We just want to talk about Drew Thayer. He's your boyfriend, right? Drew is CIA.
I'm sorry, what? I know you're a spy.
It's a long story, and I'm going to explain everything. Some bad people are after me, and now they're after you.
If we don't deliver this package, Vivian, a lot of people are going to die.
Do you want to die having never been to Europe? Or do you want to go to Europe and die having been to Europe?
Why are those my only two options? Is this really happening?
Yeah, because you dated a spy.
This is surreal, and I honestly think I'm in shock.
Robin, you are incredible, and I want you to own it.
You have a real instinct for this.
I do play a lot of video games. You too? Wow.
What? You're the boss, and yet you have not sacrificed 1 ounce of femininity. That is the Beyonce of the government.
I get to walk, bitch.
Yeah, Mila Kunis is just dating Justin Theroux, and he breaks up with her abruptly and disappears. And she has texted him 1,000,000 times, and he doesn't get back to her. And then Kate McKinnon takes her phone and texts him, "I'm going to burn all your shit that you left in my house." And then she does hear back from him immediately, and then we can see that he's off in another country, like blowing things up because he's a spy. And he's like, "No, don't burn my shit. I'll be right. I'm coming back tomorrow." And things unfold from there.
And it was an awesome, friendship story, too. And, together they become embroiled in this, I don't know, trying to get a secret drive that's going to destroy the world.
Yeah, the MacGuffin in the story is they don't. It's classic MacGuffin because it really is pretty meaningless what it is. It's just some technology that somehow will. I mean, it's just like a throwaway line of what it's going to do.
The back door to the internet.
Yeah, the back door to the internet.
Everybody wants it.
All we know is it was made by an international terrorist group named Highland. Intelligence tells us they're planning a series of attacks. If we had it, we know how to stop them.
So yeah, there's a drive, and it's hidden inside of a
fantasy football trophy. Second place
fantasy football trophy, which I love. That speaks to me because in our friend group we do give out meaningless trophies like that.
I know. They before they know there's something in it, they kind of make fun of him for keeping it, and I'm like, I would totally keep it.
That's a hard-won trophy.
Yeah. There's 14 people in our fantasy football league, so second place would be pretty sweet. Yeah.
Significant. Yeah. Significant achievement.
Mila Kunis's character, she is awesome at being a spy, and throughout the movie, it's like she's being underestimated by so many people, like her boyfriend, who thought she would be like, would just like go to Vienna and give this trophy away and give it to the bad guys.
Yeah, she had really good instincts.
Yeah, established that she's a good shot by early in the movie. She's at their local bar that they go to all the time, and she's playing this game that's a shooting game, and she's really good at it. Her name is in the high score, and she owns this shooting game, which I mean that's the sort of thing they would do in any movie like this with men characters, to say, oh well, here's how we'll explain that that these average people are somehow good at all the spy stuff. So I can see some Reddit users taking issue with that, but it's the exact same thing that they would do in a movie with male characters.
Right.
And she's a Trader Joe's employee, but it's not Trader Joe's. Right. I don't remember what it is.
Yeah, it's like clearly Trader Joe's.
She's wearing a shirt that is with this lab pattern. Yeah. That is very obviously like. I like that as sort of an explanation of spy talents too, because Trader Joe's employees are the best at banter.
That's true.
I have a history of painful interactions with retail employees where they always feel the need to comment on whatever I'm buying, or it's just like these awkward conversations. But for some reason at Trader Joe's, I always look forward to checking out. I've never had to be like, oh, I have to go to a longer line because that guy is insufferable. So I like that established her like just people skills that she has, that she must have for working at a Trader Joe's type place, and maybe even reading people based on like little things like what they're buying.
Yeah. When she first meets her spy boyfriend, she's telling him like, I've never really finished anything before, like I did law school. I just thought it was so cool how she just like totally in the movie came into her own as a spy, and like her friend would not let her negatively talk about herself. Like there's a scene like where Kate McKinnon's like, you were so awesome at this, can we just stop and acknowledge like how you know, shot all those people, and shot, like,
and she switched the trophies too.
And switched the trophies.
And they're such great friends. Like Kate McKinnon is super best friend, who doesn't even for a second question that she's gonna ride or die literally with with a bitch. So
Kate McKinnon's childhood, the guy who had a crush on her, like, and was obsessed with her, is Edward Snowden.
I went to performing arts camp with Edward Snowden.
Oh, that's right. You used to date Snowden.
No, he tried. God, he was obsessed with me. He was really into ska. When the whole thing was going down, I was like, why is no one talking about the fact that Edward Snowden is really into ska?
And I love that you kind of thought that was just going to be this weird throwaway funny detail, and then it comes up later when they have the drive but they can't access it, and it's like, oh, I know who I can call. Of course.
Which is another sort of trope, but with a movie that would have male characters in it, that you would say you wouldn't think twice about. I don't know, but the way that they present it here, as it's a comedy bit, but it's also serves the plot, and it is the sort of convenient relationship that they would have in any action movie.
Right. Yeah.
I know this guy. I know this guy who's good at hacking things.
Right. And he is available immediately. Like I could just like how does she really okay, she went to camp with him, but somehow she knows his phone number now.
Yeah.
Where he is,
hidden.
Right. And she doesn't even have her phone. Like she borrowed someone's phone to call him. Do you know anybody's number anymore? Nobody.
So many funny things about Kate McKinnon, like how she and her parents have like this weirdly
she sends her mom
relationship.
She sends her mom the dick pics. That it looks like a crescent roller. The good stuff is like the action, and then the friendship that they have, and the comedy, because they are both so funny.
Yeah, they are. And I think Mila Kunis. Everyone knows Kate McKinnon is one of the best things about SNL.
Yeah, she is amazing.
I think Mila Kunis does not get comedy props the way that she should. Even though she was on like a very popular long-running sitcom, that 70s show, if you'd said, rank the people on this show in terms of funniness, a lot of people would rank her pretty low. But when she gets a chance to really shine, she's hilarious. She's so good. She was really good in what was that movie with Jason Segel's penis in it?
Oh, right. Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yeah,
she was great. That was the first first thing I really remember seeing her in, and I was like, "Whoa, who is this?"
Yeah.
I never watched that '70s show. I mean, I knew she was from that show, but I didn't watch that. And yeah,
I know she needs more of that, like more of the roles like that.
Right.
She's in Bad Moms and was pretty funny in that too, but that was definitely very much an ensemble. I didn't think the sequel was as good. There are some people out there who've taken notice and are casting her in comedies, but she should be in way more comedies than she is. Unless that's a personal choice, I don't know, but I think she doesn't get the props that she deserves for her comedy chops.
Yeah, and you know that's the thing that drives me crazy, that like people like, oh, I want to be taken seriously and do more drama and all that, but I think it's so much harder to do comedy. I mean, like anybody is serious, you know, but not everybody's funny.
Comedy is harder than drama. My husband and I say that all the time. I think we talk about it all the time. I mean, comedy is so hard, especially if you mix comedy and drama, which they do in a way. I mean, it's not like there's a lot of dramatic beats, but there are definitely serious beats in this movie. Like, people do die. There's a body count. Their lives are in legit peril numerous times. And they play it really well.
Right. And then also both of them have their serious moments where like their feelings have just been really hurt. You know, like Kate McKinnon, obviously, when Justin Theroux tells her she's a little much, like not just he says that to her in such an asshole way, but that he says it and then just walks away immediately. Like, I feel like that's the most pricky thing about that. It's just like, anyone tell you you're a little much, and then just walks out. And you can see later she's telling her that story and how that really, like, you can see it really genuinely hurt her feelings. And then also Mila Kunis is throughout, like you can tell, just sort of has like a low self-esteem thing when it is so funny when they're watching the thing about them on TV and her mean friend is like, I mean, she doesn't even have a bed frame. And he's like, a box spring counts. But you can tell that kind of thing does get to her. You know, that she feels bad about herself, that she doesn't finish things, that she kind of hasn't really accomplished anything, and
she's in a little bit of an Arrested Development state, which is, again, another thing we see in movies with male characters all the time.
Right.
Where they're like, oh, I'm this schlubby person, but who's sort of failing at life. But here it's a woman who's in the same situation and not schlubby in appearance necessarily. But she's that Trader Joe's outfit is not doing her any favors. She's still obviously like getting by. She's fine romantically. I like that too, that she's not like, where they're not trying to say like this character is failing romantically. I mean, she gets dumped, but like Justin Theroux is a pretty good pull, I think.
Yeah, right.
In general. He can get it. And her later love interest, the spy that doesn't dump her, is also I didn't recognize this guy, but he is from a very popular show called Outlander. Do you guys watch Outlander?
I've never seen it.
And everyone was saying, oh, this show is so great. I'm like, I don't know what's so great about it. I watched it and I fell asleep every time. So then it would be that thing where it's like, well, you just have to watch a couple episodes to get into it. So then I'd skip ahead because it'd see like I'd probably figure out what's going on. And again, I'd fall asleep like 10 minutes into every episode. It was just a narcotic for me, so I gave up. But if I ever have trouble sleeping again, I can just turn it on and it won't be a problem.
I don't know. I know a lot of people are into that show, but I feel like everybody that's into that show, it's because they were really into the book series, and now it's like the show of the book series. But I don't know if it has any. It's not something I ever. It's just not like my. I mean, TV. I'm like I hardly ever watch anything, but I didn't read those books either because it's kind of like fantasy. It's just not like my thing.
It's like,
I think it's fantasy, right?
It is. Well, there's a time travel element to it, so that's why I kept trying to stick with it, because I am obsessed with time travel movies and shows, and my favorite movie of all time is Back to the Future. So I'm willing to give anything with a time travel element to it a shot, a really good shot, and I tried so hard with this one, and it's so boring. But people find this man very hot.
I see it. Yeah,
he's not for sure my type, but
he's not mine. But I mean, he's objectively speaking.
Yes. And he's very charming in this movie.
Yeah,
I loved Gillian Anderson as the CIA boss, and she was just so like
the Beyonce of the government.
Beyonce is an angel on this earth. Yeah, and Kate McKinnon's reaction to her is accurate. It's just, that's what any human person would do in the presence of Gillian Anderson.
That's one of my favorite lines in the whole movie is when she's like, my respect for you has circled all the way back to objectification.
Yeah.
Wait. This is you're the boss? We have a real-life Judi Dench in our midst. Why have we been spending all of this time talking to the men when this being has been floating through the halls of the building? Oh, my God. I have so much respect for you that it has circled around into objectification.
That's such a perfect way to describe Gillian Anderson in general. Her character she's playing like the head of MI6, is that right?
Yeah.
And I think it's accurate for the actress as well.
I love the action scenes in the movie. There were so many great chase scenes, like the car chase scene where they get picked up by the Uber driver and he's like, I'm a DJ, and then he's trying to I don't know, I guess the driver, he was like, I just took so much meth.
There's a bunch of men chasing us with guns, and I need you to lose them. Now!
Fuck yeah! I smoked so much meth before.
Right!
Fear is an illusion!
It's hilarious, and it's also a little bit accurate because if you've ever gone to a cab in Europe, it's terrifying.
And he just really goes right with it when it's like, oh, by the way, we're being chased by a bunch of people with guns. Like, all right, it's on. We're doing this.
He's prepared for that.
I mean, I love right before that how first they try to steal somebody's car.
Get the fucking car! Get the car! That's not our car! I'm sorry.
Hey. Oh!
Okay, what's that? Oh, shit. It's a stick. Do you know how to drive a stick? No! Which one's the brake?
I don't know. There's something.
How do I change the fucking gear?
How does your car work?
So sorry.
It's an emergency.
Oh, my God. Oh, God.
Okay.
Get out.
That scene is so funny.
It's going so slow.
And they do that because that's the thing that they've seen in spy movies, I think, because they're like, oh, we're supposed to steal someone's car right now. And then they're like, oh, it's a stick shift. We can't drive stick.
And they're just very slowly going down the stairs. Okay, let's get out.
They crash in slow motion in a hilarious way. I love their slow motion crash. And then they're just like, sorry.
Right. That's where it's the ladies' spy comedies where they're like, sorry.
The torture scene. Oh, a thing I liked about her skills and then surprise skills, they early on established that Audrey is a bad liar. So then they get interrogated by this scary Russian gymnast lady, Ukrainian gymnast lady, and you think, oh, well, she's already been established as a bad liar, she's just going to give up the goods right there, and it's not going to go well. Later on, you find out that turns out she's a great liar.
Right. Well, I feel like she figured it out. When she said, I can't lie, I give too many details, which I noticed was also a line in Booksmart.
It is. It really is. I guess I wonder if that's true of Susanna Fogel in general.
That's her little trademark. And Morgan is telling her, you give too many details. Ask me something. Oh, I just bought a boat and I'm out. And I feel like you see her. There was something else later where she was giving too many. I think the mean friend is asking, where's Drew? And she has kind of a convoluted story.
Yeah.
And so she kind of learned, just say your thing and just stick with it and don't go into a bunch of detail. And she just keeps saying, oh, I flushed it down the toilet. That's it. So my favorite thing about that whole thing is then you find out, because they want the flash drive, and then she says she flushed it down the toilet, and then later she's like, oh, actually, she's had it this whole time because she hid it in her vagina. Which I just love how that's this big flip. I'm like that's a lady's spy, that is something I think a woman would just do, and do kind of casually. It made me think of how in Pulp Fiction there's that whole big thing about, oh, this watch was up my grandma's ass, and he stuck it, and it was such a big hardship that someone had something in their ass, and she's like, oh yeah, it's been in my vagina this whole time. She's like, you get used to it.
Really, a flash drive is, smaller than a tampon in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Yes, that was a believable element to me, because she's trying to swallow it, or someone's trying to swallow it and they can't.
To swallow it, and she's because that's always a thing in spy movies too, where they're just like, oh, I effortlessly swallowed giant or whatever. It's not that easy to swallow things that aren't small and coated in gelatin. So yeah, I like that they try to do a thing they've seen in spy movies and it was impossible. Right. So they're like, well, what's the solution to this? Okay, well, we've got some orifices we can work with here.
Right. Yeah, and I thought it was just a funny little play on can women do things, or or also women are just voting with their vaginas or something. Like she just really literally used her vagina to like be a better spy. Yeah.
There's a long-running gag on Broad City. Do you guys watch Broad City?
Oh, yeah.
Where one of the characters, Alana, is always hiding things in her vagina. She's always hiding weed in her vagina. And there's a line that I think about all the time, that the vagina is nature's pocket. Nature's pocket. It is. It's all alkaline in there, and it can't get too high up in there because of the cervix, so it's great. It's perfect.
You can kind of easily get whatever you put in there back out.
Yeah. Did she put it in a baggie first, though? Because that's important.
I don't think she did.
No, it was
because
just
remember you said there's something on here, and she's like, oh, sorry, we're not perfectly waxed porn stars.
Yes. Okay, well, that's unbelievable then, because I think that the fluids would short out the hard that drive very quickly, but...
that makes sense.
Where was the script supervisor for that one?
Right. Well, it was this very, very special spy flash drive thing. Yeah, I'm sure.
That's waterproof.
Right.
The scene where they tried to get Morgan to swallow it, like they were at supposed to be Morgan's dad's friend Roger in Europe, and it's Roger's been killed, and this is like some evil guy. He's Maria Bamford's agent in Lady Dynamite.
Yes,
he's hilarious.
This is a character actor. Fred Melamed is he often plays this sort of creepy old dude.
Yeah, he's really good at it too. These old guys, they just like flock to me. Or they love
he's into me.
Yeah, and then somehow, I guess Morgan ends up being drugged.
He does seem like he's into her, though.
Yeah, he's totally it was like a total Me Too moment in that. And then...
So I like how she's using that to her advantage, because it's probably something that's given her lots of anguish over the years, but in this case she's like, okay, well, part of being a spy is turning that on its head. Morgan's parents are played by Paul Reiser and Jane Curtin.
Right, which is amazing.
They're amazing.
I've never had a special fondness for Paul Reiser, but I love him in this. The whole thing is that Morgan's parents are magic and awesome and will forgive anything at all that you do. And when she's telling him, well, Audrey killed someone, but it was self-defense. That's fine. And I killed someone, but it was assassin. Also fine.
Yeah. I do like the SNL pedigree, too, of Jane Curtin being there. She was one of the first...
Yeah, she's original
in the OG cast.
Like, she has had a pretty impressive, solid career. She was on Kate and Allie. It's rare that people have more than one successful show that they're on, but she had that long running show, and then she was on Third Rock from the Sun.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Which also ran for a long time. She did pretty well for... if you compare to the other original cast members, or just in general, someone who has a lot of his success on one show.
And she was in one of the only SNL sketches turned movies that worked for me, which was The Coneheads.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't see that.
That is also very underrated, very funny. It transcends the sketch itself, and it's like an immigration story.
Oh, cool.
And it holds up.
We gotta talk about the Harvard guy just because I love him.
Oh, yeah.
Just because, there's not really that much to say, but just, I love how when one of the other spies, when they're telling her your boyfriend is a spy, and one of his cover stories with some podcast he has in the guy's life. I mean, I wouldn't even listen to that, and I went to Harvard. And the other guy's like, didn't even take you 2 minutes to mention that. It's relevant, but I love that. That was a very fun detail to me, the thing of how someone who went to Harvard is going to make sure to mention it anytime.
It was a good podcast joke, too. She says, I'm not 100% sure what it was about, jazz and economics.
Oh. Did you guys see Shrill, where the guy has her loser boyfriend has a podcast called Talkin' Trash?
Yes.
It's all things Alcatraz.
I do like podcast jokes, even though I like podcasts, and there's just so many of them that it's rife for comedy.
Yeah, same with blogs. You know, like I like a lot of blogs, and once in a while I do my own blog, but it is something you can make fun of a lot. You know? Like, one note I took is when they're burning all his stuff, she's making fun of him for having a list of all the best breakfast burritos in town, and this has a great egg to tortilla ratio. And I was like, I feel like that's something Jessica would do. Like maybe not specific to breakfast burritos, but like I didn't think that was weird, having a list of places. That's also a very Laura thing, I think, too, would be. Laura would have that with places. Like, and this place has the best broth, and this place has the best meat to broth ratio or something like. Yeah. When they're making fun of his stuff, I was like, I would keep that trophy. I would
fine.
Skid marks on the underwear I saw, probably.
So this is what's called a lunchtime poll.
When they first meet, it's like a very charming little banter over the jukebox, picking the worst song on the jukebox.
I like that game, pick the worst song on a jukebox is a good game, and I think it'd be a fun game to play, too, when you're about to leave somewhere.
Right.
Yeah, the Crash Test Dummies. That's probably one that I would have picked. I was like, that was a bad song of the 90s, and maybe of all time. It's actually
not of all time, but it's definitely very bad.
It's
I think Smash Mouth probably wrote one of all time.
Yeah, the British spy, he's like, I was there, and the worst song was definitely John Mayer, Body is Wonderland. Your Body is Wonderland. She's like, I lost my virginity to that song.
That's probably a very true detail, though. I feel like that's a 90s. Thing. Yeah. Or the Dave Matthews song that this Lady
Crash.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I think there's a specific age range of people that could relate to that line. I think of losing their virginity to a song like that.
Although I didn't have music on when I lost my virginity.
I didn't either. No.
I feel like I don't know anybody personally.
Right. Like, let's set the scene.
And the soundtrack.
I in college I did go through a period of like having mood music on, but it didn't feel right to me. It always felt too contrived.
Yeah. That might be something that is really just a movie thing and not a real life thing. Or even just like a couple having a song.
Because it's like you literally had to choose a song to represent your love for a wedding. But if you're just a couple, how would you go about deciding? Did you sit down and have a meeting? Like, what's our song? And what are the parameters? I mean, I definitely have songs that remind me of exes, but not because they were our song, just because they're moments in the relationship that either like when I heard the song I thought of the person, or we listened to it together and enjoyed it, but we never were like, all right, this is it, we're putting it down, let's laminate it.
This is our song.
Yeah.
And I've decided that.
Yeah. Okay, so this is something that both movies have in common. The director had the actors bond in a way before the movie. So for The Spy Who Dumped Me, Susanna Fogel had all of the main characters go to an escape room, which and apparently in the escape room, Mila Kunis took charge and nailed it.
Nice.
Wow.
So I like that. That was before they even shot the movie, that she was like already proving her worth as a real life spy, I suppose. And then for Booksmart, they had the two leads live together for a while, which I think is great.
Whoa.
And so they have a great rapport there.
They do. Well, the one other Spy Who Dumped Me thing that I wrote down is the scene where they're being tortured by the gymnasts, and they're saying like, we don't keep secrets, and they're telling each other secrets, and that like I love that scene. That would be so fun to do. I mean, not while being tortured, but like if you had some like contest where it's like who knows the most about each other, or who knows the most secrets of the other. I really enjoyed that, and that was also just like such a good. Another piece of like how it's such a good friendship movie, because like they just really, so often in movies and TV especially, I think like people act like they don't like their friends, or they're always dunking on their friends.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, don't people actually like their friends and, lift them up and, know things about each other?
I'm hoping that that's fallen out of favor, because it seems like there's been a lot of shows recently that don't do that anymore, but certainly the very popular shows like Always Sunny. I never got into that show because it would come on, I forget what show I would watch that came on after it, but I would always see like the last 20 seconds of Always Sunny, and every episode ended with them yelling at each other. And then The League, I really liked a lot about The League, but I hated the fact that nobody seemed to like each other. How can you guys be friends and just constantly rip on each other, and not even just rip on each other, but actively sabotage each other's lives?
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
I prefer supportive friendships. I think that's what we like about both of these movies, is that they're supportive friendships. So the sort of friendships that we have. So the secrets that they share are slightly embarrassing, but they're not like, oh, my life would be over if people knew this about me.
Yeah, then it's not malicious or anything.
I'm trying to think of like some other like really good female friendship movies, and I'm having a hard time.
Oh yeah,
and like
that's the whole point.
Yeah, it's always like couched in some really like big tragedy, like Steel Magnolias, Julia Roberts' death, Thelma and Louise, like where they end up killing themselves.
Right, it starts out with her like almost getting raped, and then it ends with them both dying.
Yeah.
Female empowerment.
Exactly. That's what has to happen if you're a strong woman. You have to die. You have to get raped and die.
Right.
They're just two best friends who are on an adventure together, and it's the kind of thing you see in movies with male characters all the time. And why don't we have more of these movies? Why is it so hard to think of other ones?
Right. Yeah.
That was the impetus for the Feminist Movie Club, was because, we were just like, we want to support these movies that are being made.
Right, so that they'll keep making them.
We're voting with our dollars, and even the ones that aren't that great, we still just want it counted that people were interested in seeing these movies, and so please keep making them so that we have more examples than just one or two.
I love how right now all these awesome female actors from the 90s are getting these awesome roles. Did you guys ever see Dead to Me? Christina Applegate has a show.
Oh, I heard that was really good.
It's really good. And like Winona Ryder is like coming back after being blacklisted for like
for shoplifting.
Right.
There's a theory that there was more to it than that, but I don't know what it is. I've just heard that it had to have been more than that, because it's just such an innocuous thing that she did.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Right. Well, now I feel like you question like any career trouble that a woman had for a period of time or got labeled difficult or something is like, now you just question like what really happened there. Did she just turn down Harvey Weinstein? There's a lot of women where I'm like, I want to hear their side of the story.
Yeah.
Like women that like Sean Young, got like this crazy person, and it's like by James Woods, who's like such a raging asshole. Like I definitely want to hear her version
for sure.
Whatever happened there.
And it's like really nice to know that they are making more roles for women with Winona Ryder. I mean, like, some people could argue she lost all of these money-making years of roles because she was young,
And now she's old.
Now she's old and put out to, play the mom role. Now there's actually some movies coming out with, like, female actors in their 40s and 50s. It's awesome. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, what sort of movies would we want to see Winona Ryder in? I was trying to imagine her in an action comedy. I don't know if she's great at physical comedy, though. Yeah. One of the reasons that this movie, but actually both of these movies work so well, is because the leads are great physical comedians. They really sell that. I mean, Kate McKinnon...
She can just do anything.
She can do anything.
Yeah.
She's incredible. It's the dialogue is the kind of thing where it could have failed in the hands of lesser actors. Like you said, if the plot itself doesn't hold up to scrutiny, so you really need charisma to sell what's happening at any given moment.
the physical part was really fun to watch them together, working together on the chase scenes and the restaurant scene with the handoff, and then Morgan doing like trapeze in the end. And I need to go up here in order to make this happen. He's like angling to be this trapeze star.
Also, it's hilarious that they both dyed their hair to be disguised, but then it's like, wait, we're still one blonde and one brunette.
That reminds me of one of my favorite scenes, which was there's a sniper who is told to find two obnoxious American tourists.
Dumb American.
And she pans around the square with her scope, and it's just filled with one blonde and one brunette obnoxious American in various states of obnoxiousness, I suppose. One is like crying on some stairs, and one is throwing up, and her friend is holding her hair back,
and then the porno-y selfie taker,
like molesting ancient statues, taking the piss out of American tourism.
A special thing about this movie for me is the scene in the restaurant when they're supposed to find someone named Vern, and when Kate McKinnon's in the bathroom, like, the lady has a Vern name tag. She says, Guten Morgen, and she's like, Guten Vern. And then she comes out and she's trying to signal to her, like, that's not Vern, the person she's about to give the thing to, and she's like, trying to mouth it and signal her, and then she just shouts, that's not Vern.
That's not Vern!
I took that as a little Midnight Run callback. With the very Serrano's got the discs, which is my favorite scene of any movie ever.
So we can move on to Booksmart, which is a 2019 comedy, very recent, directed by Olivia Wilde.
Oh shit! Are we gonna go to school or? Nope.
What's 2 + 2?
Isn't it crazy that it's the last day of school? We have to go to a party tonight. What? Nobody knows that we are fun. We didn't party because we wanted to focus on school and get into good colleges. And it worked. But the irresponsible people who partied also got into those colleges.
I'm incredible at hand jobs, but I also got a 1560 on the SATs.
We haven't done anything. We haven't broken any rules.
Name one person whose life was so much better because they broke a couple of rules.
Picasso.
He broke art rules.
Rosa Parks.
Name another one.
Susan B. Anthony.
God damn it.
Susanna Fogel wrote this with Emily Halpern, Sarah Haskins, and Katie Silberman. But yeah, I think that she does have some signature moments that you can say that's probably a Fogel line, like you were saying about being a bad liar. When the characters compliment each other, that happens.
Oh, right,
yeah.
That's why you done me a lot, which is great. I mean, and that's like a true female friendship moment, because why wouldn't you compliment your best friends all the time?
Right. I know, sometimes I always wonder, how do men know that their friends like them? Because you hang out with your women friends, you're like, oh, you look so pretty, I love you. And then it's like, hey.
I mean, my husband compliments his friends and vice versa. It happens. I've seen it. I don't know, we might have unusual...
You guys have a very, very high functional friend group, I would say.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, so we're not segregated by gender generally either. I mean, I definitely have my ladies, but we hang out as a mixed gender group all the time, and it's fine, and no one's breaking off to talk about shopping and sports.
Right.
That sort of thing. Booksmart is about two best friends who are also maybe among the smartest kids, or at least from their perspective, they're the smartest kids in their graduating class. They're seniors in high school. It's one day before graduation, the last day of school. The valedictorian, Molly, played by Beanie Feldstein, is going to the bathroom, and she overhears some of the popular kids in the bathroom, and it's an all-gender restroom, talking about her and how she is cute, but she's a butter personality. She comes out and she's like, well, I'm going to let you guys have it because I'm going to an Ivy League school next year and you guys are going to be washing cars or whatever. And that's when she learns that somehow everyone in her graduating class is going to an Ivy League school, or at least a very good school, except for one guy who is not going to college because he was recruited by Google.
Right.
And she has...
mid six figures.
Yeah. And she has a meltdown because she's like, well, what did I do with my high school life? If they were able to party and get good grades, why wasn't I? So we have to make this last night of high school count, is what she tells her best friend Amy. And so then they're off on a mission to find this party where all the popular kids are going to be. It's a rager, and they want to be there, and they want to experience what it's like to party before they go off to college. So, what do we like about this movie?
Where do I start? I loved their friendship and how funny they were. I mean, I just thought they were both so funny. And for me, it was like, I felt a lot like it was like if me and Laura were friends when we were in high school. Like, she had like such a, Molly had such a Laura vibe, you know, and just was like, who allowed you to take my breath away? Like, she sounds a little bit angry when she's giving you a compliment.
No.
Not acceptable.
This is not okay.
Who allowed you to be this beautiful?
Who allowed you to be this beautiful?
Who allowed you to take my breath away?
I mean, I just really loved that. I mean, I just thought this movie was just so funny. It's just how funny people are with each other. Like when Amy first comes to pick her up in the morning, and they're just like standing there dancing. Like, we're just gonna do this all day. We're not going to school.
I love that scene too, because I love how it starts off with this music, and then the music drops away, and they're still dancing for a long time with no music, and they're hilarious dancers. I'm always a sucker for funny dancing in a movie. Anytime that happens, I love random musical numbers. I love funny dancing, and there's funny dancing later on too.
Oh yeah, the musical number with her, like where they finally make it to the party. And, you know, her and Nick, her crush, have that long...
She has a fantasy sequence where the party turns into, like, a blue-lit jungle. And they do this funny interpretive dance for a minute. And then it stops and you realize she's just sort of having this fantasy. It's such a cute relationship that they have. They're very supportive of each other. It's clear that they spend a lot of time together. I had a friend in college who... She's still my friend, but my very best friend in college. My relationship with her reminds me of these two friends too. Just two friends who are always like hanging out together and just goofing off, and they have all these inside jokes, and their lives are just very intertwined. Mm-hmm. I had that with my friend in college. I didn't have that in high school. I had a very mean best friend in high school. And of course it had a little bit of a codependence to it, which they address. That's like their one issue that they have, is that there's a bit of a codependence there. They're about to sort of have to break up because they're going off to college, and one of them is Amy's going to Botswana.
I know, I keep wanting to say Uganda, but it's not Uganda.
Yeah. For a year before she comes back and goes to college. So
one of them is gay, and the other one is straight. They're best friends. It's not even like a thing. It doesn't have to be a plot point. It doesn't have to be a...
Yeah, like her coming out is not
totally normal.
Yeah.
And they're friends, and Molly's encouraging Amy to pursue the one girl who she's been crushing on for a really long time. It's just like normal teenage stuff, and she's...
And it's not like the lesbian is secretly in love with Molly, or, you know, like, which I think would have been, if this was something that was made like when I was a teenager, if there were two women, you know, that it would definitely have been like the predatory lesbian who's in love with the innocent straight girl. You know?
Right, yeah. And I love that they have like this special, like the calling Malala moment in the movie, like that's sort of like the Hail Mary of friendship for them. I'm calling Malala, you know, the first time.
You're only allowed one a year.
Yeah, you're only allowed one a year, and Molly uses it to go to the party to see Nick. Like, we are going to this party.
Yeah.
And then in the end, Amy calls Malala, and it doesn't work out so well. But like, I just like how much they know each other and have like this like code with each other.
Yeah, they have a friendship shorthand, which is very realistic for female besties.
The other thing was like that I thought was interesting, like when they finally get to the party, it's like all of those kids that were the popular party kids. They're all like, oh, we always wanted you to party with us. I kind of wonder if that would have been like accurate, because when I was in high school, I went to like a big like rager party on spring break, and it was just like a weird experience for me. They clearly like Molly, like she's like upset also that she hasn't partied, but like no one knows we're fun is what she says.
Yeah.
And, like, wanting everybody else to like think you're cool or you're fun, you know, I don't know, like she's
right, where you know, like they would like me if they got to know me.
Yeah. Clearly like they're cool, but there was some like idea that they had, like they had to be the studious ones because that meant they were going to be successful, or you know,
so
like
it was more of like a competition for them, especially I think for Molly, who ends up being the valedictorian. So first she's like, I won, I'm the smartest kid in school categorically. But yeah, I think they felt a certain obligation to win when it wasn't really about winning. It was just about enjoying your life, I guess.
Yeah.
Just shut up. Hot Probs is on.
Oh, shit, yeah.
This is a criticism that I've read about this movie, but I don't think it's a problem, but is that it's not realistic, right? This is like a fantasy high school where everyone gets along and it's very diverse and nobody's teased for being overweight and nobody's teased for anything. Nobody's teased for being a minority of any kind. But you know what? I don't think it's a problem because we have plenty of movies that are realistic about people being tormented in high school.
Yeah, yeah.
When I think about movies that I want to show my kid, I don't want to show her that like being a teenager sucks ass, because she already will know that when she's a teenager.
Right. I definitely notice that I feel like they're kind of nicer than people are in high school, you know. But then I also think, I mean, for me, I feel like it's middle school, junior high are the years where the kids are really shitty to each other, you know, and then when you're getting to the end of high school, like everyone's, I feel like, has kind of settled down. And then I also think there is like, you know, a shift change that sort of happened. Lucy, my daughter, she's in middle school and she kind of developed a little bit early. And I mean, for me, I remember like the girls who developed early, it's like there was so much, it was like a laser beam on them of boobs. And like I just asked her once in a while, I'm like, oh, do boys like ever make comments about girls and their boobs and stuff? And she looked at me like, what? Like, who would do such a thing? You know? I mean, maybe it is possible that things have changed, or there are schools where kids are not like so relentlessly mean. There's some meanness in this movie, but it is pretty mild. Like,
and it's not celebrated either.
Right.
Yeah.
I have to kill Mama, and I know it'll haunt me. I'm a peaceful person.
That's very true.
Wait, are you guys talking about Molly Davidson?
She's cute. You know, yeah, I give her that, but
it's like a filing cabinet down there.
Well, I got no problem.
Molly's like a butterface for personality.
Right, like even when they're talking about Molly, like I love there's not an issue about Molly's weight, where it's like, can you imagine a character like that? Not that she's so gigantic or anything, but a character like that in a high school movie that came out when we were in high school, there would not be a scene with that character where there wasn't like a mention of her weight.
I hope that the cultural landscape is changing. I did go to a movie high school in a way that where there were very popular kids who were dicks, and I was the loser with a couple of other kids, and we were tormented, and shit happened to us all the time. When I tell the stories to my husband and other people, they're like, that's crazy. Like, they can't believe that I did go to like basically a movie high school, but I did, and I'm glad that might not be the experience for kids growing up now.
I hope it's better for kids now. Or getting better.
I don't want the Breakfast Club to be the reality for children today. I also heard the movie was criticized for not really representing economic disparity so much. I mean, there are two characters who they call the 1% because they are very, very rich. One of them has a yacht that he has a party on.
The people that catered his party also did Sasha Obama.
Yeah,
16.
That's true.
Yeah.
But then the other characters all seem pretty middle to upper class as well.
Yeah, although I feel like maybe they're sort of hinted at with Molly, like she lives in an apartment, which, you know.
That's true.
Like, is when they pull up to her place.
We never see her parents either, do we?
No. I feel like she mentions her mom a little bit. I mean, like, for me growing up, like, that would be, if someone lived in an apartment in that house, you know, like, that's a big difference.
Yeah, and like all the kids are going to Harvard and Stanford and whatever.
They're all going to
like,
some expensive
I'm
school.
like, whose high school is this? And then like the house they're at, the party is like this, it looks like Jackie Treehorn's Hollywood house or something.
And
like,
it has a pool.
It's a huge house,
It's like, I think it's his aunt's house.
Right.
So he doesn't live there, but he definitely, his family, somebody in his family has money, but I don't know where he lives. Yeah. It kind of reminded me of Clueless in some ways, too. Yeah. It does have a public school vibe, but it's a public school populated by mostly kids who are doing fine economically.
Right. Well, and to me, like, I feel like that's true. Like, in wealthier towns, the rich kids go to public schools because that's why the families moved there, because it's a part of it that it's a good school district. I grew up in, like, a wealthy town, and, like, it was almost like a stigma if somebody went to private school. Like, going to private school meant you kind of screwed up and couldn't handle regular school, or you know. It was like, I mean, God, I can't even imagine how much Yale must cost.
I know.
You know.
And no one talks about getting a scholarship or anything.
Right.
I mean,
well, the one kid said he's going to play soccer at Stanford, which might be it might be an athletic scholarship.
Yeah.
I like the drama kids. They think they have found the house party, but it's really the drama kid party.
It's a murder mystery
party, and they get handed scripts, and Alan's like, "You're the Baron orthodontist."
She says, "Why am I Baron?"
Yeah, why is it Baron? I mean, I remember like reading plays and things like that in high school. Being Baron was like a big descriptor, like as if you're like a farm animal or something. Like,
it makes it gives me like a visual of like a dusty uterus.
I know, like what is that about?
That's kind of a commentary on character descriptions in scripts, I think, of women, because it's always about their appearance or their ability to give birth to children. Those are like the two. It is like describing livestock, isn't it?
Yeah,
like, can you breed and are you pretty?
There's something else besides like Baron that he says. It's like frumpy Baron orthodontist. She looks at. She's like, this just says orthodontist.
And I like that he tricks them into going there.
Right. And then what I had never noticed when I just watched it again the other night, they get to that party and then they find out they were drugged at the previous party, and then they have that weird hallucination where they're like Barbie dolls.
What the fuck? What is happening?
Why do you look like that?
Molly, you're a fucking doll.
No, you're a fucking doll.
What? Ow! Fuck! That hurt! My boobs are too heavy. I have no core.
Our legs don't bend. They're twice as long as our torsos. These proportions are insane.
And I had never noticed till this time that when they're Barbie dolls, they're dressed as the characters they are. Like, she's dressed as a farm girl. She's like in a like little nurse's outfit. Like, you're a farm girl and you're an orthodontist, and that's the little costumes they're in. This was the third time I saw it.
Wow.
I noticed that. Amy's like so into having this Barbie body.
Yeah, she's got the Barbie body, and like, I see why people like that. You know.
Oh my god.
What the fuck am I wearing? Where's my badge?
Molly, I have no genitals.
How do I pee? How do I shit?
I mean, I don't even have nipples. These are just mounds. My whole body's like a fucking dolphin. Just perfect, round, huge mounds.
Wow. What?
Look at my body. I am beautiful.
No, don't get sucked in. This is our nightmare, Amy.
I know this is unrealistic and bad for women, but is it bad? Because I feel pretty good. I mean, this ass won't quit.
Amy, use your brain!
I don't need to use my brain. I just need to be smooth and flexible. Look at you, you bad bitch.
Okay, that's it. We have to wake up.
My.
I think I might, actually stay here for a while.
No, I won't let you do it.
Stop it! Stop!
You need to throw up.
Let me have this body!
One of the Lyft drivers that picks them up ends up being their principal.
That was funny.
That's played by Jason Sudeikis, who is Olivia Wilde's husband. And also from SNL, but yeah, Mr. Olivia Wilde. And so I think they start saying something in Spanish, but then he speaks Spanish, so then they're like, okay, well, I guess we have to talk in Chinese then. He doesn't speak Chinese, fortunately. And they're trying to talk about what they're going to do when they get to the party, because Amy has never made out with a girl before.
Oh, you're about to sit here and judge me for dabbling in pornography. I thought you were a sex-positive feminist.
Are you insane? Principal Brown is right there.
I have headphones.
It's 4 feet away from us.
I have headphones, madam.
All right, but once we get a sense of the mechanics, I am shutting it off real quick.
Of course. It's for educational purposes.
And they're already plugged into his system because he has a phone charger. Their phone is dying.
If you guys want to listen to your music, I can just plug it in up here.
No!
Oh, that's fucking hot.
Touch me.
Was that Cardi B?
That was funny to me because it's like kind of a little inverse how if guys are learning sex from porn, like they're not getting a good idea of you know what to do, how to do things, like what a partner is really gonna like, and then they're like, let's watch some lesbian porn to figure out how lesbians do it. A guy could not really learn sex from straight porn, but like can a girl learn?
Well, my
would it be more accurate?
What did they find? Because there's definitely like lesbian quotes porn that is not, that's the male fantasy of lesbian porn. And then there's real lesbian porn. And if she'd never looked at it before, I wonder, because if you just Google lesbian porn, guess what you're going to get? You're going to get the straight male fantasy. You have to get recommendations from other lesbians to find the good porn. So I don't know what they were looking at, but I suspect that it wasn't helpful in any way.
But I like how they touched on that earlier when she said something about scissoring, and he was like, that's not a thing. Don't knock it till you try. It's really not a thing.
Do the same part she does. You just take what you do to yourself, flip it upside down.
I don't really...
Just a down, but a flip. A down flip.
What if I don't use my hands?
You can make yourself come using only your mind. That's like the one thing my mind can't do.
No, well, I use just other stuff.
A book?
No.
Very Freudian, but I'd worry about paper cuts.
No. Can we just stop talking about this?
That little elephant?
No, stop.
That weird crochet pig.
My grandma gave me that right before she died.
If you don't tell me what it is, you know I'm gonna get...
It's the panda. It's the panda, okay? The panda.
I love that, how they just matter-of-factly reference masturbating. Like earlier when Amy's saying she doesn't know really how to do it with a girl.
She's really very unhelpful with her suggestions.
Yeah. But I do like that they just refer to like that assumption, of course, you masturbate, like, which ladies don't really do that.
Right. And if you don't have a lot of experience watching porn, then you're going to just use whatever.
Quick question. Just a quick cue. What happened to her eye?
That fell off way before anything happened between us.
Did she talk dirty to you?
Mm-mm.
Tell you about how she's in danger.
No! Stop!
Do pandas roar?
Stop!
You sneaky little bitch. I can't believe you didn't tell me that you have been mounting that tragic panda every single night.
And later on, her parents are like, oh, are you bringing this panda to college? And then they start cuddling and kissing it.
Like, stop.
Everyone's like horrified.
That's another thing I love Amy's parents.
They're so supportive, even though they're
and I love
Christian, naive Christian, supportive parents.
Yeah. And I love that they're Lisa Kudrow and Will Forte.
Yeah.
I especially love Lisa Kudrow.
Yeah, she's awesome.
I'm a Will Forte super fan for sure.
Oh,
so
nice.
I definitely appreciate his goofy delivery.
Wait, did you think he was hot though?
Oh yeah. When I first met my husband, I thought, oh, you look just like Will Forte.
Oh, okay.
Someone I have a major crush on. Yep.
Oh, interesting.
Last minute.
Now I don't know how to react.
You, Amy, off mic, you were talking about how the casting of this movie is great because these are all these young up and coming actors are people who seem like they're going to be super famous in a couple years. I found out in my research that the casting director for this was also the casting director on Freaks and Geeks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's Allison Jones, and she also cast The Good Place and Scott Pilgrim. And
oh my God. Yeah. Scott Pilgrim is a treasure.
Yeah, she does have an eye for talent.
When we first saw Booksmart, it made me think of like Like when you watch Fast Times or Dazed and Confused, like all the people who were unknown then, but then became a big deal. I didn't know anybody in this movie. I mean, I guess Beanie Feldstein a little bit. I mean, of the young people, I didn't know anyone.
Mm-hmm. I knew Caitlin Dever from Justified, but it was a very, very different role. I mean, it was very serious. She didn't have a single joke, I think, on that show. It was a very serious role that she played, but she was great. She was a very precocious young lady on that show.
I think she's also on, I think it's a Netflix series.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, probably.
Yes, there we go. The true story of Marie, a teenager who was charged with lying about having been raped. Fun.
Yeah.
Toni Collette's in that.
Yes, I know. Okay, because like there was someone else that I was like, somebody I really like.
Yeah, that's gonna be a series.
Oh, okay.
A Netflix series. September 13th. Just came out.
Oh, wow. Hot off the presses.
So hot.
Gigi.
Yes,
okay,
Billy Lord.
Yes, okay.
Carrie Fisher's daughter.
Carrie Fisher's daughter. God, she's amazing in that. So hilarious.
I'm so happy you guys are here. I knew you guys partied, didn't I, Jared?
You did, she said it.
I told him. Those guys seem quiet, but they're probably spending every weekend at like a sex dungeon.
No.
Oh God, you taste like my vitamins. I think I'm in love with you.
I don't think you are.
You're coming with me.
What?
Dance party upstairs! Yeah! Wow! I had the exact same thing.
Really?
I lost my virginity in what I thought was a park, but it turned out to be a graveyard, and now the ghost spirits live inside my eggs, waiting to be reborn.
You can't smoke up here.
Oh, what'd you just say to her?
I said to you, you can't smoke.
You do not speak to her that way.
Is it her me? Because I'm fine.
That is my best friend in the fucking world.
We're not. She's not.
We'll fucking fight you to the death! Oh!
Okay, I'm calling security.
I'd only seen her in American Horror Story, I think. I read that Olivia Wilde kept trying to come up with new scenes for her because she was just so hilarious.
Well, they did a good job of how she was just appeared at every party that they went to.
Which is a funny continuity joke.
Like, they have such a hard time getting there. It's like, wait, how are you here? You were just where we just were, and it took us forever to get here, and you're just already here.
And if they hadn't called it out in the script, I think people would have been like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. And also that they keep trying to get her to tell them where the party is, and she won't tell. I mean, not because she refuses, but she's just not helpful.
You can't tell anyone.
We won't.
Not even each other.
Okay.
Nick's party is at his aunt's house.
And they're like, we know.
My favorite was Jared.
I love him, yes.
From the Santa Clarita Diet.
Skylar Gisondo. I'm sorry if I am butchering that. On the Santa Clarita Diet, he is hilarious on that show. He's kind of an annoying character in this movie, but you know,
but like so endearing.
Yeah, endearingly annoying.
You guys hungry? I got some soup dumps.
Keep it down out there!
They're probably a little soggy now, but they're great cold.
He's one of the two 1%ers. He tries to lure them onto his yacht party. He's like known as this overcompensating rich kid who's trying to buy everyone's affection. You first meet him when he walks into a classroom that he's not. He like gives a gift to a teacher who he doesn't even have, and he's wearing a t-shirt with his, what is it called when you have like a picture and a picture and a picture?
What is that?
The Drost effect is the effect of a picture appearing within itself.
So it's just him over and over.
Yeah. And he's like been giving those t-shirts out, and one character says like no one's gonna wear that, even ironically.
Yeah, and I love his response. How he's just so good natured. He's just like, agree to disagree. Yeah. I mean, it just rolls right off his back. I really love that kid.
I love how Jared picks the girl, Amy and Molly up. I'm mixing the movie names up to go to the party. Like he's listening to an audiobook of Lean In. Before parties, I like to hear voices of powerful women.
Yeah, but is that a line, or is that really what's happening?
I don't know. I just was like, oh yeah, this is interesting.
Because he definitely seems to have a carefully orchestrated image.
True. Yeah.
So I wonder if he like thought that that's a good way to bag the ladies, but and then his license plate says "fuck boy."
That's true. I didn't think of that. Oh.
But then you find out later. I mean, he's overcompensating in a lot of ways. You find out later that I think He says he's a virgin. There's a rumor that he lost his virginity to a prostitute that his dad bought him, but then they verify later that that is not true.
See, that also was like a little callback. Because when I do think that story is true, and Molly's like, I mean, there are just too many specifics for it not to be. Like, there's too many weird details, you know, which is a little bit of the, like, when you lie, you make up too many details, you know, because the story ends up not being true.
Yeah.
You know?
That's smart.
The pizza delivery guy scene where they're like...
Where they put their hair out of their hair.
That was so amazing.
Funny. That's so funny.
He turns out to be the Valley Strangler in the end, but he's like saying, oh my God, guys, don't show me your phone password.
Right. Yeah. Don't just get into something. Like he does have a pretty detailed idea of like how he could abduct them. You know, he's not just like, you don't get in someone's car, they could drive off with you. He's like, I could be across state lines.
Yeah,
I know.
Have you hog-tied to the building filming it? Like, he could have a pretty specific. Like, that scene, I think, is Molly is just so funny in that scene.
Yeah.
She's trying to be tough and she's like, we'll ask the question.
Oh my God, what the fuck? What the fuck is this?
Re-ask the question!
Oh my God, are you guys out of your fucking mind? How old are you, by the way?
Does not matter!
Okay, that voice did not make you sound older, so you're basically children.
You do not look intimidating in any way right now. Yeah. And then
after that, they were like so complimentary of each other and how they handled that situation, even though it was such an epic failure.
Right. And I love that. Like Amy is just always practical. Like he asks if they have a weapon, and she's like, "Wait, if we say we have a weapon, that's a felony."
Yeah.
And he's like, "You guys didn't think this through at all. It was just the hair."
Okay, so you're using your hair as a mask and trying to rob someone with no weapon. Because the funny thing is, I actually have a weapon. I keep that to protect myself from bad people. Something you guys should be thinking about. Did the possibility of sexual assault ever enter your minds?
Okay, the whole reason they're in the pizza delivery guy, is because they're following the party on Instagram all night, and they see that they had a whole bunch of pizzas delivered from this particular place. So they're like, how many 15 pizza orders could they have gotten in to one address in this night? And so that's how they find that place, and they're like, let's use our superpower, which is homework. They actually go to a library and they look at some city plans.
It is funny, not even just that he doesn't that he is a serial killer and doesn't kill them, but that he expresses so much concern for them.
He's so mad at them in almost a paternal way.
Maybe he's just he's at work, he's in the middle of he got into his car to deliver pizza, so maybe it's just
strangling women ain't free, guys.
Right. He lands really funny for me. Even when he's first getting into his car and he has the two pizzas and he's like, 2 half cheeses and half sausage is just 1 cheese and 1 sausage.
Idiots.
I know.
I like that scene a lot. And then it ends up being leverage in the end because they use it to get Amy out of jail.
Right. Yeah, Amy gets arrested at the party, and then that's how she gets
she's the
out.
hero of the party.
That's good plot structure. I like that.
I love when they're going into graduation and Jared's been doing the speech as Molly.
Straight white man, your time is
okay.
And then Molly comes in and takes over, and she totally makes out with him, and everybody's clapping.
Yeah, that's something that happens off camera. I guess is they hook up at some point. They're sort of having a flirtation earlier on, but we don't see them get together. All we know is that in the morning she somehow has access to his car, and then and then they kiss on stage. So clearly something happened that we didn't see.
So here's my question: when they finally do get to the rager, you learn about halfway through that she actually does have a crush on this guy Nick that she acts like she doesn't even like. He's an idiot.
He's the most popular guy in school.
She's president of student council and he's vice president. So then they get there and doesn't it seem like he is into her?
They team up to play beer pong and she is really good at it, and then they definitely have a flirtation. I mean, he like you were saying, his line about naming her Harry Potter house would have worked on your daughter.
Well, he reminds me a little bit of a guy that she had a little crush on for a while, but then when he says, what are you, half Slytherin, half Ravenclaw, which is how my daughter identifies, and she's that is exactly what I am.
Yeah.
But then when he's leaving and he's like, don't move, I feel like you're gonna move.
Yeah,
I
he
feel
tells
like
her
he's
kind of
Yeah, he doesn't want her to leave.
I feel like that was very charming the way he said that, but she, I think, reasonably thinks, like, this is going to happen. We're flirting, and he's into it. And then tragically, later, then he's making out with the girl that Amy has a crush on. So do you think that he is really into her, like, a little bit? Or, like, is that just how he is? Is he just flirtatious with everyone? Is he just someone who kind of knows what works on people?
I get the impression that he is very flirtatious, because they do make a comment early on saying that, like, everybody who's into dudes is into him.
Oh.
And it's so probably that's a big part of it, is that he's just so charming, and anytime he talks to you, you feel like you're the only one in the room. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's malicious on his part. I think that's just like the kind of dude he is that he's just very naturally charming and good looking, and so that, and he maybe does, I mean, maybe he does work that to his advantage unconsciously.
Right. Or, like, he can kind of find a thing, like, that Harry Potter line is not going to work on every girl in school. You know, like, he kind of knows what works on different people.
I can definitely relate to just the idea of, like, somebody definitely flirting with you, but then not hooking up with you later. I had that crush on this one guy in college who definitely flirted with me, because I was, like, polling everybody about it. And I'm like, why won't this guy make out with me? He's always flirting with me, right? Am I right? And they're like, yep, he definitely is. What's the problem here? Why isn't this happening?
Right.
It is something that people do sometimes for whatever reason. And then he ends up making out, with this other girl who we don't... Her sexuality is a mystery. Yeah. She's definitely very friendly toward Amy, and she says to Amy a couple times, like, I want you should come to this party and hang out. So yeah, I don't know, I guess that both of their crushes are very friendly to a point that it can be misconstrued. I guess that's something that their crushes have in common. Right. And then they end up together. I guess it's just two charismatic people, like magnets, coming together. Yeah.
Right. Also, I feel like even though they end up making out, like, that doesn't mean, are you always only interested or attracted to one person, you know? He could genuinely be kind of into Molly, and then he's also into Ryan. You don't have to just have one crush at a time or one flirtation.
And the vibe of this party definitely is like a going out of business sale kind of thing, where you're just like, you're gonna hook up with somebody and then you're never gonna see them again after tomorrow, because this is it. We're all going to different places.
I liked Amy's underwater acting. When she discovers Ryan and Nick making out in the pool, like when she first jumps in the pool, she's like, all happy because she and Ryan are swimming together in their underwear, and then she's like, keeps swimming, and then she sees them, and like, it was like really solid facial expression. Like, I just appreciated that little detail of her.
Yeah, just like the water. I walked away from that movie thinking, like, oh my god, I wish there had been movies like that when I was a teenager. The characters were just so smart and funny, and nothing's like problematic about it.
That's exactly what I mean about the unrealisticness of it. It's not like Can't Hardly Wait was a realistic high school movie, but it had plenty of problems.
Right.
And it wasn't the kind of, it's not the kind of movie that I can't wait to show my kids.
Right, yeah.
I watched 10 Things I Hate About You recently.
Oh, did you watch that with Lula?
I did. She wasn't quite old enough with 4 months. My daughter's 9, and she's kind of been expressing interest in relationship movies. That's her words. She's like, I'm interested in relationships. She has a boyfriend. Her boyfriend is Amy's son.
I'm sorry, they're fiance.
That's true. They get engaged. My daughter proposed to her son. And he said, yeah.
We're basically related now.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
This is legally binding.
Yes. But I think she's not quite ready. She watched that movie with me, and I was way more interested than she was. But that movie doesn't have a lot of problematic elements to it either, even though there is like a bad guy character. He's like the kind of a bully who is trying to manipulate the situation, but not in an overly villainous way. I chose that movie after polling people on Twitter because I couldn't think of any movies that I wanted to show her that were high school movies that wouldn't have some problem to it. And I can't wait to show this movie to her someday. It's definitely got a lot more sex in it than I'm ready for her to see because she's only 9, but it's on the list eventually of movies to show her.
Yeah, and I saw it with Lucy. Well, we saw it, with her. Like, we screened it first to make, see.
Lucy's 12, right? right?
Right, she's 12. 12 kind of opened up a new world. Like, there's a lot of things that I waited for a while, and it's like, okay, you're old enough now. I'm so happy for her that she got to see this movie at 12.
Yeah.
We watched 10 Things I Hate About You, maybe like a year or so ago?
You did. Mm-hmm. And what was her reaction to that?
She liked it a lot. You know, I don't know, like, it stuck with her that much, but the movies that she has watched that she really liked are Clueless and Legally Blonde. I know Legally Blonde isn't high school, but those are, like, the ones that, like, she has wanted to watch more than once, and that really, really hit with her, you know. But she loved Booksmart, and she loved, 10 Things. I really liked 10 Things I Hate About You when I watched it again. It's good as a non-problematic high school movie, which is funny because it's based on Taming of the Shrew, which is, like, so disgustingly problematic.
It is.
It's right there in the title, you know.
But it's a high school movie that works, and it's on a very, very short list of high school movies that work.
Right, and you know that I will always stand for Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Which is it's crazy for me, like how non-problematic that movie is, because it's like an 80s teen sex high school comedy, which all of the other ones are
incredible.
terrible.
That's like a magic trick.
It is, but I mean, I think partly because it's directed by Amy Heckerling. You see what a big difference is when there's like a woman like at the helm of things.
And she wrote it too, right?
It's written by Cameron Crowe.
The Jackson Browne song, Somebody's Baby, I don't know why, I find it very creepy somehow.
Yeah. I think, one, because Jackson Browne is gross, you know.
Oh, I didn't know he was...
Well, he was, like, arrested for beating up Daryl Hannah or something, you know. Like, yeah. But I think, like, it's creepy because they play it when she, you know, like, the 15-year-old girl is, like, having sex with, like, the 20, however old that guy is, 26, Ron Johnson, the stereo salesman. You know, like, it's a creepy, like, it's not problematic in the sense of consent at all. She's just really eager to get rid of her virginity, you know. She just kind of thinks that's what growing up means, you know. It's like literally fast times, you know, when you're a teenager and in that rush to like do grown-up stuff. It's just bad sex. Like, it's not problematic with consent or anything. They barely know each other. She's not ready. They get like right to it. Like, she says that, she's like, it hurts so bad, you know. And then later that song plays again when she has sex with Damone. That lasts for like 30 seconds. So I mean, that song for me for sure is like very associated with bad sex, you know.
Oh yeah.
Which is why you shouldn't have a song to lose your virginity to, unless you or you should choose a song you don't like, because there's very little chance that it's going to be a super great experience, even if you're both into it. There were some movies that Olivia Wilde cited as inspiration for this movie, for her directing of the movie.
Okay.
And one of them was Fast Times, and one of them was Clueless.
Oh, nice. Little Amy Heckerling fan.
She did say Breakfast Club, but I don't see it.
I would see it just in the sense, like the different tropes of high school characters, the rebel and the jock but I actually feel like I don't really see that in Booksmart.
No.
You know?
I felt like they weren't...
Like, they're not segregated that way at all.
I got the idea that they sort of like segregated themselves as like the brainy kids.
The girls,
it's not like they are.
That does seem to be the implication, is that they were self-imposed exile.
Yeah, like they didn't walk into high school into that caste system as the untouchables.
Did they talk about how long Molly and Amy were friends? Have been friends?
I don't remember that part. They might reference something when they're talking to Amy's parents.
I don't know. I definitely get the sense that they've known each other a really long time and they know so much about each other and are very close.
But you can get that close with someone, and especially when you're a kid, in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make best friends over like a summer.
Yeah, and that's the age that's very conducive to like just hanging out. You know, it's hard. Like when you get older, you miss that like just hanging out casually with your friends and it not having to be a thing where you set it up and like plan something and I have to make dinner or something. Lucy has that, like, and Dash and Lula kind of have that, you know, where that's like just come over. Like in Booksmart, like you get the sense they're just always at each other's houses.
I just remember like in middle school going over to my friend's house and we'd watch MTV and like eat snacks for hours. And
I loved
their friendship. They had like that kind of like codependency thing that came out in their big argument at the party. You could see like a bunch of kids are filming it with their phones, and I just was mortified, thinking like, I am so glad people didn't record everything in high school, you know? And
to what end even? But yeah, you just see those lights go on as they're fighting, like, and more lights going on behind them, and you're like, what are you gonna do with that video?
Well, I think maybe it's the anticipation, like, is this gonna escalate? Is it gonna get physical? The actual argument, I don't think is something that would be very interesting for other people to watch. That's not going viral or anything.
Exactly. Amy didn't want to, like, she saw her crush making out with Molly's crush in the pool, and like, she's just like, Molly, I need to leave the party. And like, she's not telling Molly, the guy that she's so obsessed with.
She's trying to protect her feelings.
She's trying to protect her feelings, and then
even
like,
though she herself is very hurt in that moment.
Yeah. The goodbye scene, like where she's taking her to the airport, I thought that was really sweet. They're finally going their separate ways. High school's over.
Feels weird to be on this side of the car. It's like everything's different.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm not gonna see you tomorrow.
Call me on that weird international flip phone, okay?
I will. Okay. Bye. I love you.
Love you. Bye. Go make those tampons,
I
girl.
will. Bye.
Bye.
It was a nice little scene.
Yeah, it was. And then they didn't know how to say goodbye to each other either, and they didn't not say goodbye because they go get pancakes.
And then, she runs
which
back
made me
into the
very
car.
stressed out, I have to say.
And time can do so much.
Oh, fuck! What the fuck is wrong with you? I was going through a thing. I was going through a whole fucking thing. What the fuck?
I can be the last one on the plane.
What's wrong with you?
You want to get pancakes?
Fuck yeah, I do. Fuck yeah.
I know. Where are they going? Like, is it like
Is there hop across the street because
right. Like,
she's
can
gonna
you
miss her
just
flights?
park and eat in the terminal? Before security or anything. I know you like to get to the airport very early.
Well, yeah, and she's going to Botswana, so like that's an international flight. You need at least 3 hours. You can't just roll up with your bag and expect to get on the plane to Botswana as they're boarding. It doesn't work that way, young person. But on the other hand, I mean, maybe it is believable that they would do that because they don't understand the gravity of going to the airport and how hard it is.
But there probably is an IHOP right around there or something. Something quick. Like, pancakes are fast.
Ken's 2 cents. Ken's 2 cents.
I appreciate that my dad saw this movie,
Oh, did he?
He did, yeah. My dad, goes to movies, all the time. So
He sees
pretty much
everything?
sees everything,
Yeah.
I mean, still, my dad's an 84-year-old man, not the demographic
cool.
is.
Yeah,
so I appreciate that he saw it, although he did ask me, he was puzzled by the end. He was like, so does that mean they, got together?
What?
No. Why would it mean that?
That is a very perplexing question.
It's at least you tried. I don't know. I'm just gonna give you take the W for going to see that.
Yeah.
No, Dad, that's not what that ending meant. I think he liked Jessica Williams in it. I mean, he appreciated, there's a whole thing of how fast you do a crossword puzzle. So.
Oh yeah, that's true. There's a whole
That's
nod to the Thursday.
My dad and I have that tie-in. So I don't remember what. I mean, I just remember he liked it and he thought it was funny and he liked that part. And then he was wondering if the ending meant they got together.
Overall, I'd say we all recommend these movies.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've seen. Yeah. I can watch Spy Who Dumped Me over and over again, actually, and I like them both a lot.
Very rewatchable, very quotable. Do we have any other lines we want to give shout outs to?
Well, I mean, the soundtrack in Booksmart was amazing.
Oh, right, Lizzo.
Yeah. I think we're going to see Lizzo in every movie from now on. All right, well, I think that concludes our first episode of Paid and Puke.
Paid and Puke.
On the next episode of Paid and Puke, we'll delve into the 1988 film that gave us our motif, Heathers. Paid in Puke is hosted by Amy Green, Christina Barr, and Jessica Baxter. Music by Silent Partner. Follow us on Twitter at Paid in Puke Pod, or join us on Facebook at Paid in Puke Podcast. Thanks for listening.
Lick it up, baby. Lick it